The conference room door clicked shut behind me at exactly 7:14 p.m. I placed my access card on the polished table, looked straight at my soon-to-be ex-husband, and said the 4 words I'd rehearsed in silence for months. "You win. I'm done." His lawyer slid the settlement across the glass. I signed where the yellow tabs pointed, added my initials in 3 more places, then stood up without another word. Julian's smile was thin and victorious. He thought he'd just claimed half of everything I'd built. 26 hours later his attorney phoned him in near hysterics. "You let her walk away with *everything*. Do you even understand what you signed?" Rewind 6 years to the rooftop bar in South Lake Union where the story actually began. I was 34, newly elevated to lead structural engineer at Apex Infrastructure after delivering the city's tallest mass timber office tower on time and under budget. Julian approached me near the fire pit in a charcoal suit that cost more than my first car. He pitched his startup, AI-driven site logistics that would eliminate delays forever. I should have registered the buzzwords, the endless Silicon Valley references, the casual insistence that we split the $28 tab because real equality means no one owes anyone. Instead I saw a man who asked intelligent questions about my work, remembered I preferred mezcal neat, and sent a follow-up text the next morning quoting a line from the panel discussion I'd moderated. We married 21 months later in a small ceremony on Vashon Island. My father had died 18 months earlier. He left me his 1972 Rolex GMT Master, a brokerage account that had quietly grown to 7 figures through careful index investing, and a single typed note folded inside the watch case. "Your work lights up the skyline, Nora. Never let anyone convince you to turn it off." I kept the watch in a safe deposit box downtown. The stocks remained untouched. The note stayed in my desk drawer at the office, read whenever a project felt impossible. The first 18 months felt like teamwork. I covered mortgage, utilities, and health insurance while Julian chased Series A rounds. When his first venture imploded, co-founder left, prototype failed, I quietly paid off the $58,000 personal line of credit he'd maxed out in both our names. I told him we'd pivot together. Year 3 brought Venture 2, then 3. Each required bridge financing. I transferred from my project bonuses and year-end distributions. Meanwhile I was named partner at Apex, clearing $410,000 annually plus carried interest. Julian's contribution remained mostly vision boards and golf with strategic contacts. Year 4 the pretense ended. He networked at private clubs, bought $1,200 loafers because perception is reality, and stopped pretending to log hours. I came home to drawers slightly rearranged and his cologne on pillows he hadn't slept on. Then the phone. A Wednesday evening. Julian's device buzzed on the entry console while he was in the steam shower. Preview from Ava Lauron. "Last night was magic. Bring the watch tomorrow. It looks hotter on me than it ever did on her." I opened the thread. 9 months of plans, hotel receipts, mirror selfies. One photo showed Ava wearing my father's GMT Master. Another showed 4 of his original blueprints, hand-drafted during his Peace Corps years in Chile, leaning against her bedroom wall like set dressing. I captured everything. Sent to encrypted storage. Returned the phone to its exact spot. That night, while Julian slept, I called my law school friend Vanessa Torres, now one of Seattle's most feared dissolution attorneys. We met at her office 48 hours later. Vanessa reviewed the messages, the bank statements showing 5 years of one-way transfers, the missing heirlooms. "Washington is community property," she said, "but perception is everything. Let him think he's already won." Over the following 8 months we constructed the defense in layers. I placed the condo in an irrevocable trust seeded with my premarital inheritance and post-tax bonuses. Documents so dense Julian never requested copies. I amended my partnership agreement to ring-fence my equity as separate property via technical covenants my co-partners approved without question. I itemized every dollar he'd spent of mine, every asset he'd quietly transferred. Most critically, I installed high-resolution video cameras, disguised as Wi-Fi extenders and air quality sensors. Audio was disabled. Washington demands 2-party consent. Video alone was devastating. The footage documented Julian and Ava in our home during work hours. It captured them opening safes, trying on my father's watch, wrapping the blueprints in moving blankets, joking that I never noticed anything anyway. When I returned to blank wall space where my father's drawings had hung for a decade, I called Julian. Seen Dad's blueprints? Those old things. Gave them away. They were gathering dust. I sat in the guest bathroom and shook for 40 minutes. Then I reapplied concealer and continued. Vanessa drafted the kill shot, a mutual interim property acknowledgement that, deep in paragraph 14c, contained an irrevocable waiver of all future claims to marital assets in exchange for consideration already received. Julian signed it in 19 seconds, too busy texting Ava about their new chapter to read beyond the signature block. 3 weeks ago he presented his ultimatum. The condo, half my partnership interest, $9,500 monthly maintenance until I stabilize. I feigned devastation. I negotiated weekly. I let him believe he'd cornered the market. Then I signed his proposed decree, knowing the condo was trust-owned, knowing he'd already waived every claim. The morning after I left, Julian woke in his residence. The biometric deadbolts ignored him. I'd revoked his credentials at 1:47 a.m. His Audi e-tron, titled solely in my name, refused to start. I'd triggered the immobilizer remotely. His Amex cards declined at the lobby cafe. He called property management. They informed him the unit belonged to the Whitaker Revocable Trust. Sole trustee, me. While he paced the lobby in yesterday's shirt, King County deputies arrived at Ava's Madrona condo with a search warrant. Video clearly showed her removing my father's watch, cufflinks, and blueprints from our home. She was booked for possession of stolen property and conspiracy. Julian's lawyer reviewed the stack of documents he'd signed across 14 months and reportedly shouted, "You waived everything *." She built the entire structure so you'd think you were winning. The dissolution finalized 7 weeks later. Julian received zero equity, zero support, and a court-ordered restitution judgment of $112,000 for converted property, plus both parties' legal fees. Ava pleaded to a gross misdemeanor. Her lifestyle account, built on timeless luxury posts, lost every brand deal within days. Last month I rehung my father's blueprints in their original frames. I placed his GMT master back in its box beside his letter. I stood on the balcony watching ferries cut through the mist and finally allowed the grief I'd postponed. For the marriage I believed in, for the years I spent protecting a man who viewed my legacy as collateral. I didn't orchestrate revenge. I simply stopped shielding him from gravity.